Hello, everyone. Miss Udo here coming to you guys for another math lesson. Today's lesson is on multiplication as repeated addition. So let's get ready to get started. Before we begin, please make sure that you have all of your supplies for math class. That means that everyone needs their math journal and a pencil to write with. You need your math journal and a pencil to write with. If for some reason you don't have your math journal, please make sure that you have a piece of paper and a pencil, and make sure that you find somewhere that you can keep this piece of paper so that you can refer back to it later. Also, please make sure that your Google Classroom tab is open because your assignment after the live lesson will be in Google Classroom. And as always, please make sure that you have a positive attitude and an open mind so that you are ready to learn. Let's review our math norms. These norms are things that we want to think about every day while engaging in math instruction. The first norm is that errors are gifts that promote discussion. The second, ask questions until the ideas make sense. Number 3, talk about each other's thinking. Number 4, answers are important, but they are not the math. And number 5, use multiple strategies and multiple representations. All right, guys. Well, we're going to begin today with our warm-up. Our warm-up question says, what is the sum? 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals blank. What is the sum? Please answer this question on your screen now. All right, well, let's solve it together. What is 5 plus 5 plus 5? This is a repeated addition question, and it's something that we talked a lot about in second grade. How do we figure out what 5 plus 5 plus 5 is? Well, one way that we can do it is take two of our add-ins and add them together first. And so 5 plus 5 is 10. And then we can bring down the other add-in. 10 plus 5 equals 15. So 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals 15. How did you do, guys? Let's take a look at question number 2. Question number 2 says, if you continue skip counting, what is the next number on the number line? Take a look at the number line. If you continue skip counting, what is the next number on the number line? This is a multiple choice question. Is it A, 8, B, 10, C, 12, or D, 14? Please answer the question on your screen now. Well, let's check it out, guys. When I look at my arrows on my screen, I notice from the first arrow that I hop from 0 to 2. That is 1, 2 spaces. From 2, I hop to 4. That is another 2 spaces. From 4, I hop to 6. That is another 2 spaces. I am sensing a pattern. Each time I hop, I am hopping 2 spaces. So if I hop from 2 spaces from 6, I would get to 8. The correct answer is 8. How did you do, guys? All right, well, let's get into today's lesson. Our objective for today is that I can use addition or multiplication to join equal groups. In alignment with our mathematical practices, our other objective is that I can also make sense of problems. We're going to talk about quite a few terms today. Those terms are equal groups, multiplication, factors, product, equations, and unknown. Let's take a look at our anchor chart. Our anchor chart has all of our key terms today. Let's start with equal groups. If you take a look at the term equal groups in our picture, equal groups just tells us that we have sets that are the same. Again, equal groups tell us that we have sets that are the same. Our next term for today is multiplication. Multiplication gives us a quick way of putting numbers together when they are in equal groups. Last year, we talked a lot about repeated addition. Repeated addition is another way to join numbers that are equal together. But multiplication helps us to do this a lot faster. The next term for today is factor. Your factors are the numbers that you multiply together. Your factors are the numbers that you multiply together. When we multiply numbers together, we get the product. The product is the answer to our multiplication problem. When we're solving math problems, sometimes we call them number sentences, but more often than not, we call them equations. Equations are what we call a number sentence that has factors, if we're talking about multiplication, an equal sign, and then a product. Sometimes you're going to see that there's a question mark after your equal sign. Or maybe it's just an empty box or an empty space. Whenever there's something that we're solving for, we call that an unknown. An unknown is the part of the problem that we do not know the answer to yet. So, guys, today we are going to do a little shopping. And in particular, to begin off our lesson, we are going to buy some bananas. At the side of your screen, I would like for you to answer this question for me. How many bananas are in this bunch? It's not a trick question. How many bananas are in this bunch? Answer that question for me now, please. How many bananas are in this bunch? Well, to figure out how many bananas are in the bunch, all we have to do is count them. There are 1, 2, 3 bananas in our bunch. There are 3 bananas in this bunch. Oh my, what is this? Where did all of these bananas come from? There are way more bananas than there were before. I think that I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of bananas now. But there aren't just 5 bananas. Today, we're going to talk about how we can find out how many bananas we have in all. In order to start, we're going to do a little bit of repeated addition. On our first slide, You told me that there were 3 bananas in each bunch. That remains the same. If there are 3 bananas in each bunch and there are 5 bunches, how many bananas do we have? We can use repeated addition to figure out how many bananas we have. The first bunch has 3 bananas. The second bunch has 3 bananas. The third bunch has 3 bananas. The fourth bunch has 3 bananas. And the fifth bunch has 3 bananas. Use repeated addition to tell me how many bananas we have in all. Did you say that we have 15 bananas? Let's see. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 plus 3 is 12. And 12 plus 3 is 15. If we count straight across, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 bananas. 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 15. Well, not only can we explain the number of bananas we have in our group using repeated addition, we can also identify the number of bananas that we have by the number of groups that we see and the number of objects in each group. In this case, there are 5 groups of 3 bananas. If there are 5 groups of 3 bananas, how many total bananas do we have? Answer the question on the side of your screen. Well, guys, as we said, if there are 5 groups and there are 3 bananas in each group, we have a total of 15 bananas. Another way that we can write 5 groups of 3 is by writing a multiplication equation. 5 groups of 3 would be written as 5 times 3 equals 15. So let's take a look here. We learned 3 different ways to describe our set of bananas. We can use repeated addition. Our repeated addition tells us that we have 3 bananas in each bunch and that there are 5 different groups. We could also describe our bananas by calling them 5 groups of 3, or we could use multiplication. Tell me, please, on the side of your screen, what is 5 times 3? Did you say 15? That's absolutely correct. 5 times 3 equals 15. Let's try another one. This time, we're shopping for cherries. I want you to write a repeated addition sentence to find the total number of cherries. Write a repeated addition sentence to find the total number of cherries. And more than that, let's be specific and write a whole equation. I would like for you to solve your repeated addition sentence telling us how many cherries there are. Please place that on the side of your screen now. Well, guys, when I look at my cherries, I see that there are 2 cherries in each set. And because there are 2 cherries in each set, my repeated addition sentence would be 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. But what does that equal? What can we do to figure out? Well, one way we can figure out how many total cherries we have is by just counting them. Let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12 cherries. Another strategy that we could have used to figure out how many cherries we had and answer our repeated addition sentence would be to skip count. If we skip count by 2s, we would have gotten 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That also would have told us that 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 is equal to 12. Well, guys, when we were looking at our bananas, we discussed the fact that there are multiple ways to represent this problem. You've represented the problem using repeated addition. Now I would like for you to complete this statement. 6 groups of blank equals blank. Write the entire answer in your box. 6 groups of blank equals blank. Write the entire statement in your box. All right, well, let's see how we did. The question started us with 6 groups. We know that there are 6 groups because that is the number of sets of cherries that we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But we need to figure out what goes in these blank spaces. 6 groups of blank equals blank. Well, this first blank should tell us the number of cherries in each of our groups. Here we want to do the number of cherries in each group. And the number of cherries in each group is 1, 2. There are 6 groups of 2. And if we have 6 groups of 2, we have a total of 12 cherries. The number after our equal sign is our total. When we are talking about multiplication, we call this total our product. All right. Well, if we have 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 and it equals 12. And we also learned that 6 groups of 2 equals 12. How can we represent this as a multiplication equation? Well, to start, our first factor is going to represent our number of groups. The second factor is the size of each group. And the third factor is the total. On the side of your problem, please write the multiplication equation represented by our problem. Well, we've already determined that there are 6 groups, and each group has 2 cherries. And the total number of cherries that we have is 12. Great job, everyone. Now it's time to pull out those math journals because you are going to answer a problem on your own paper for your notes. All right, guys. So now it is your turn to do a problem on your own. Please make sure that you have your math journal ready and your pencil. At the top of your math journal, I want you to write draw 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 12. You are going to create a picture to represent this repeated addition problem. 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 12. For this one, I'm going to help you out just a little bit. When you get ready to draw your picture, remember the number that we see tells us how many items are in each group. So for the first part of your picture, you may draw a circle, and in your circle, you may put 1, 2, 3 items. Teachers, please pause the video and allow the students an opportunity to draw a picture that represents 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 12. All right, guys. Well, now let's check our work. So I started by drawing one group that had 3 dots in it. If I want to represent my problem, because the number 3 appears 4 times, I'm going to have 4 groups. And each of those groups should have 3 dots in them. Does your picture look something like mine? I hope that it does. Well, now let's go to the second part of our question. Now it's time to solve. I want you to write solve in your book, and then you are going to write the multiplication equation represented by our problem. Remember, our first factor is the number of groups. Our second factor is the size of each group. And our third factor is the total. Teachers, please pause the video to allow the students an opportunity to write the equation in their notes. Now that you've had an opportunity to write your equation in your notes, please write your answer on the computer on the side of your screen. Write your entire equation on the side of the screen before we move forward. Let's check our work. Our first factor is the number of groups. If I take a look at my picture, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups. So my first factor is the number 4. My second factor is the size of the groups. There are 3 dots in each of my groups. The third factor is the total. There are a total of 12 dots. So my multiplication equation is 3 times 4 equals 12. We are almost done, guys. I have 2 more questions for you, and I'm going to have you answer those on the side of your screen at this time. The first question says, which repeated addition sentence is represented by our picture? Which repeated addition sentence is represented by our picture? Your answer choices are on the side of your screen now. Which repeated addition sentence is represented by our picture? Well, when we take a look at our picture, there are 2 groups and there are 4 strawberries in each group. That means that our repeated addition sentence for this particular problem is 4 plus 4 equals 8. 4 represents the number of strawberries in each group, and we write the number 4 2 times because we have 2 groups. Let's look at the last question. What is the multiplication equation that represents our picture? What is the multiplication equation that represents our picture? Please write your answer on the side of the screen. Well, let's recall what we talked about today, guys. Today, we learned that when we write our multiplication equation, we want to first list for our first factor the number of groups, and then we're going to multiply by the number of items in the group. And then that was going to give us our total. Therefore, for this particular problem, our number of groups, and let's change my color, our number of groups is 2. There are 4 items in each group, and we have a total of 8 strawberries. Guys, you did such a fabulous job today. There is a practice set of questions posted for you in the Google Classroom. Please work on those at this time. Have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow.